Okay.
Good morning, you guys. I'm waiting to see if we're officially live. So if you can see us, say hello. I'm going to give everybody just a second to pop on. I'm watching the feed for us, Dana.
Okay, perfect.
There we are. Say hello. I'm going to give everybody just a second. Okay, we're good. Good morning, you guys. I have the chat up on my phone. So if you guys pop on, say hello. If you're catching the replay, though, me and Mama Schon are going to go back, or Dana, I call her Mama Schon, are going to come back and ask questions.
I love to be called Mama Schon. Call me Mama Schon all day.
I know you got to tell them a little bit about that because she's the mama of the town, the mama of Reach Retreat, mama of, I don't know. I just go to you for advice. You're just.
Everybody calls me Mama Schon.
I'm a person.
Adults, administrators at school, everybody calls me Mama Schon. It's my moniker.
Okay, so we want to be mindful of you guys catching the replay. So we're just going to dive in. We know that it's 9 o'clock on a Friday morning. Not everybody works for themselves like we do and has that flexibility. Most people do, I guess, in our Reach Retreat following anyways. But we just wanted to kind of change it up a little bit. I've had over the last couple of weeks, I've been interviewing our Reach Retreat speakers and leaders and talking about what they're going to be bringing to Reach Retreat. And I thought it'd be really neat. Yes, we have testimonial videos and all of those things, but to actually hear in real time from a founding member who came before Reach Retreat was even a thing. She agreed and believed in the vision and has returned for year 2. And she describes herself as like forever a Reach Retreater. So Dana, why don't you tell them who you are, where you're from, what you do, and we'll just kind of start from there.
Okay, so I'm a local author in Cincinnati, Ohio. My family owns multiple businesses, one of them being a farm. So I wrote a series of books based on the animals from our farm. That is truly like my passion. I love that. And I am a community member and active in my community, and that's what I love, and that's where Mama Schon came from. My name is Dana Schon, but everybody knows me, calls me Mama Schon, and that's really what I answer to, and it's what I love. I love being that go-to person for other people. I love that whole community piece. You know, that's my what's the word? My cloak, my cape. You know.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well. Sorry, Eight the cat. My cat's name is 8. Is going to maybe potentially hop in our video this morning. So when we said
dog's under my desk. So
yes. So when we said this was casual, it's casual, you guys. Like literally in my comfy pants, in my intentional space in the office. Okay, so let's tell them a little bit about how we met, because I think this is such a good piece of how intentional connection and like putting yourself out there and traveling and like doing those things opens up so many opportunities. So why don't you tell them like how we bumped into each other?
Yeah. So I started following Rachel Hollis probably about the same time you did, and went to her retreat in Dallas. And for me, I'm a mom of 6 kids and married almost 30 years. So I'm never alone. So going to that conference was huge for me. I met up a few women, and while we were in the lobby of the hotel that we stayed at, Danielle was staying there with her husband, and we just met briefly. We had a mutual friend in Krista. So I think that kind of connected us a little bit. But I remember listening to you talk, and you were so focused and had such a vision for your life. And that just really struck me. So I followed you on social. I bought something from Throck Shop, a t-shirt. Small business. I love it, the hustle shirt. Yeah. And I think I just followed you from then. And we have so many mutual friends in common because of Rise Dallas.
Yeah.
We just stayed connected.
So that was 2019.
Yes.
So I travel. Okay. So I had gone through my own personal development journey. I wasn't someone who worked out or meditated or put herself around other women. I didn't have a lot of female friends. My health was struggling. I was trying to build a business while working full time. And then everyone was reading her book. And I was like, maybe like people who are doing great and like taking care of themselves, they read. So I read her book. And I was just touched. I had a lot of actually ways to relate to her, like having lost a sibling. There were a lot of things throughout being a wedding planner. Like that's my first company, is a wedding planning company. So there were like all these weird things of like, how did I not know who this woman was? And I decided to buy a ticket, and I went to Rise completely by myself. Now Preston drove me, but like I attended that conference without any friends, without knowing anyone. And I literally got in the line that morning and the women were like, "Who are you with?" And I was like, "Oh, I came by myself." They go, "Well, you're not leaving by yourself." And I was like, I had never been supported like that. And like, this is not a shout out for Rise, because obviously I want you to come to Reach Retreat, but Rise was a game changing, connecting piece to
Yes.
change my whole life and my whole business and make myself a solo entrepreneur. But the reason I wanted to hit on that was just because the connection. I was like, I remember sitting in that building. I think there was 8,000 of us that day, and just feeling the energy and like just the small little pieces of conversation I had. I was like, what if I could create an intentional space using my design skills, and bring women together and actually spend intentional time for like 3-4 days, getting to know each other and growing, instead of like, yeah, Rise had this huge impact, but I didn't get to bond. I didn't get to bond with people the way I wanted to. And so that's what, honestly, between that and my prayer time, that's what developed Reach Retreat. I was just like, I'm supposed to do something like this for other women.
And I think it was so important that Rise created all this like snowball effect for all of us. And creating Reach Retreat gave us an opportunity to have a VIP experience in a smaller setting so we could make these connections. You know, I think about the relationships that I had that came from Rise, and a lot of them rolled into Reach Retreat. And at Reach Retreat, the relationships that I have are stable and ongoing. They're just relationships that I'm building on. I have business relationships with these women. We support one another's businesses, and we've stayed connected. And I think it's because Reach Retreat gives you the VIP experience in a smaller setting where you can really truly connect and meet on that level. You know, the level where we let our guard down, you know, and we speak honest from our heart. Because when you're in a big 8,000 women conference, you're guarded. You are as open and as sweet and nice as people were to us there. And I did genuinely feel like it was a warm, loving place environment. It was still 8,000 women. And, you know, you don't let your guard down with 8,000 women. But in a smaller group setting like Reach Retreat, you're able to do that and feel safe and supported and loved. And I feel like that is such a powerful place to put yourself, especially when you're building a business or building a brand or trying to figure out what you want to do, or you just freaking need a break. You know, sometimes women just need a break.
Yeah.
And that's a great, Reach Retreat was a great place for that, because at some point I just needed a break. And I think I felt that going into the first Reach Retreat. You know, I didn't know anyone either. I met people through groups here in Cincinnati that were going. So I kind of had some friends going to Rise, but I went by myself. I don't go anywhere by myself. But it gave me the courage to go to Reach Retreat by myself and travel in the middle of a pandemic to a women's conference when it was just a lot of women I didn't know. I mean, I wasn't going in with all these friends and relationships. It was all surface level. So I remember, you probably remember this too, walking into the house.
At Reach Retreat.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Flustered. And I was like, you know, trying to breathe. And you guys, I think you noticed it right away. But I was so nervous. This is funny. 50 years old, and I'd never ridden in a cab before. Never had a reason to. So I'm riding in this cab through a city. I have no idea where I'm at. And I'm walking into this big house to meet women that, are they going to like me? Are they going to judge me? You know, am I going to fit in? Am I going to be sitting here for 3 days with, I want to go home the whole time? And it was completely not that. I was embraced immediately. You guys immediately saw my energy and picked my energy level up, gave me some time to decompress. And then it was just like, oh, I'm home. You know, I felt so comfortable with everyone there, and you just set it up. That space, I can remember it very clearly. And that charcuterie board, oh my gosh.
Janice is amazing.
Janice is amazing. I love Janice. I don't know. It was just like to be able to come from one space into another space and completely change your energy level because of what someone else did to create that space was just hands down an amazing experience. You know, our energies are such an important part of us, and we give and receive our energy every day and all day. But to be able to accept it from someone else when you really needed it, because it was just set up that way for you, you know?
Well, and that's kind of where, my first year and my vision of it was just because I also desired that connection. I had gotten this small taste of what it was like in a big setting, and I took nuggets from it, but I was like, what if I could actually get to know these women on a different level and build these relationships? And so I had shared this with Diane, and Diana's live with her, and she also, we met through Rise. We talked about that on our live interview. I didn't even speak at the first retreat because I didn't see myself as that. I didn't think people necessarily wanted to learn from me, but I knew I could create a space and cultivate these little touches that made women just feel so special. And so all the way down to like the colors, to the food that we ate, to the type of stuff that, silverware we ate off of, and your swag bags, and like hand making your little tassels that hung off of it. Like just those little things for me felt like such an honor. And like these women not knowing what Reach Retreat was and taking that leap and trusting my vision was just so special. And like whenever you came in and I could tell that you were a little bit stressed and a little bit heavy, I was just like, okay, like this is what I kind of expected though, is women coming into Reach Retreat are kind of unsure a lot of times. Like they're excited, but they're unsure of like, what are these women going to be like? And that is where I also am very intentional when I say apply for Reach Retreat. Not everyone comes to Reach Retreat. Not every person that applies is the right fit for Reach Retreat. I have to be really intentional with the type of women that I put together, because otherwise we don't have that bond, that success, that high energy. And that's part of what I love to do. Is I knew you were perfect. I knew Mama Schon was needing to be at Reach Retreat.
I think I'm thinking about the first Reach Retreat mostly because that one I felt like I completely relaxed. There was a picture of me in a hammock.
Yeah.
Not the most flattering picture, but I'll take it because what's most important about that picture is I was truly relaxed. And the people that know me. I don't relax very easily. So to be able to relax in a space with strangers was huge for me. It really was. And I do believe all the details, the swag bags, the colors. I thought you were nuts. I'm gonna be honest. When you made us wear certain colors and we had themed out, I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta find. But you know what? It was fun.
It
Second
was
retreat,
fun.
I thought it was fun, the second one, because I started planning my outfits ahead of time. So I was ready to go.
Okay, so this is the thing, guys. I go down to like mailing you a packing list because I want to take the guesswork out of it. I want you to feel prepared. And I asked, like, do packing lists help you? I did it on the feed this year. I was like, would you like a packing list or no? And people were like, please, because it does. It's like, what does women think about that? Like, what am I going to wear? What are they going to wear? And this sounds so minor, but when you think about Reach Retreat, yes, we have powerful speakers. Like the content is great. You're learning, you're taking away, you're getting this time with them. But it goes down to even the little things of just knowing and being prepared of what to wear. Women like that, we worry. It holds us back. We're like, oh, I saw the pictures of all the Reach Retreat girls and matching outfits, and like, that's not my thing. Like, message me and be like, okay, I'm looking at this yellow dress. Like, I remember some of the girls in Reach Retreat being like, I'm in the changing room. What do you guys think? And it was fun. It was fun to get you guys out of your comfort zone and put on the sexy black dress and have a candlelit dinner and just be spoiled. Krista just popped on. She was like, hey, ladies. And she said, yes, the one-on-one connection creates a sisterhood. And Krista, we love you so much. Anna hopped on. She said, hey. So the girls are popping in. But okay, so let's get back on track to like kind of give them an idea of, there's been like this for you, this kind of unique testimony and like this, I think you called it like your rite of passage at Reach Retreat, of like something that you take a step on each year. So why don't you tell them about like a little bit of your testimony and like what you've done each year with Reach Retreat?
So I'm going to say in 2019, I started my personal journey to kind of deal with childhood traumas, deal with that negative Nancy voice in my head that told me I couldn't be an author. And, she lived in my head all my life. So I've done the work. And when I went to the first Reach Retreat, I had been writing my children's book. I had the illustrator, book was together. I was working with another person I'd met at Rise. And it's all about connections too. Going to Reach Retreat, it's the connections that you make with these women carry you into your business life because you can help and support one another. So someone else that I met, she helped me get my book published, but my book, I'm losing my brain. The sample of it came out when I was at the first Reach Retreat. of my first book, Miller, Rather Fancy Goat. So it was so powerful to be able to sit there with all these women that were supporting me and loving me and show them my book, because it was right before it was going to print. And when you're doing something like that and you're giving your work and your heart, it's a vulnerable place to be. I felt so supported and so loved. And I'm pretty sure all of those women purchased the book at some point. Second Reach Retreat was last summer, and it was crazy. I'm sitting there at Reach Retreat, and my second book gets sent to me. I'm like, you guys, come on, this is so crazy. So it's like Reach Retreat has been such a rite of passage for me in writing my book. And it's almost like it's just meant to be for me to be in a place where I'm loved and supported. And it hits different when it's people that you don't really know, people that see your true spirit, your true heart, and love you for it. That's what Reach is about. It really is putting you in a place where you feel loved and supported by people that aren't your sister, or your mama, or your husband, or your boyfriend, just women that are truly living a heart-filled life, or
and I feel that way. Like, Mama Schon wrote me this letter and I had shared it in the blog. So if you guys haven't seen it yet, you got to check it out. I may link it. I'll probably link it to our live, but it was a blog that I shared a couple weeks ago. And it was her letter that she wrote me on the first retreat. And it was like how she wanted to verbalize how she felt about the retreat. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I held on to this letter. Yeah, I held on to the letter. And I was like, hey, is it okay if I share this with women? Because to be honest with you guys, putting on a retreat like this, sharing about it constantly for a year and convincing these women they're worthy of having this experience, it's a lot. It's a lot of work and energy and heart, but I also love it. But when I return back to that, like those testimonies and that letter and seeing these women out there taking what they learned at Reach Retreat and growing, it's what keeps me going. And so when I have like these defeating thoughts, because we're all human, or I have things that come up, I'm like, Mama Schon. Like, or this is one of my favorite things. So she gave me this cross last year at Reach Retreat, and it says grace on it, because I always tell people to give themselves grace. And she signed the back of it, and it's literally in my intentional space right here. And she said, you always tell people to give themselves grace, and I just want to remind you to do the same for yourself. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is my tribe. Like, this is my woman who, yeah, I would have met at Rise, but had never got to know in this intimate setting, to where I can literally send her a message if I'm having an off day, and I know she's going to support me. And that's what we need as entrepreneurs. Yes, like I said, we're going to hear from those powerful speakers. They're going to bring game-changing tips and tools and ways to sell, and all of that's so great. But when you get home and life hits and we return back to that, we need people who understand the way our brains work. They understand our traumas, they understand our triggers. And I, not only you, but like Stephanie Laswell, she came, I'm going to ask her to do a live with me. Actually, she came as a sponsored Reach Retreat girl. So she had a full sponsorship, and she came and she left, and she's completely changed her life. And she literally says, I will be an advocate for this retreat for as long as it is. And I'm like, it is, it's trucking. We're year 3, baby. But I'm like, those things mean the world to me as a host, to be able to hear you guys have those transformational experiences, because I'm having them with you, like, even as your host.
I'm sitting here remembering when I wrote that letter, I was sitting on the couch, and it was our last day, and we were leaving, and I was flying out early. Remember, I was going to miss part of and I remember having so much emotion and not really knowing what to do with it. So I wrote you a letter about how I felt, because that's truly like how I was feeling. And I think about Reach Retreat, and I think about the women in this space in both of the retreats I've been to, and the power that comes from those rooms. The speakers are freaking amazing. Yeah. And then have Diana Gintu there to support you through the whole weekend. Who does that? Who creates a retreat that has their personal like counselor who is there just to support you for whatever you need? And it's really no words are adequate in explaining how important that is to a developing entrepreneur and woman who's trying to just do better with her life and be better and seek better. The speakers, gosh, you did amazing, and being able to watch you do that in the second Reach Retreat was you, and I've told you this already. I'm always amazed at what you do and how you do it in your vision. And the speakers you bring fire. And that's probably, one of my most favorite things is the speaker time, is spending that time in a space where we're comfortable and we're chill and we're getting poured into by experts. And that there's a lot of power in that. A lot of power in that.
Thank you. I'm accepting all of the words this morning. Like, I love hearing that. Okay. So
I'm feeling very emotional about it right now, like remembering and thinking about Reach. It's hard to explain to people how powerful it was for me. It's very
that's
powerful.
the thing is, like, I think our testimony ended with Chris year one, and she said, you just have to be here to experience it. Like, it's just so hard to understand the energy of the space. So why don't you, and just a quick little summary, I literally put on a bullet on there on like why you will forever be a Reach Retreater. Can you just like summarize it on what that means to you and why?
Oh, wow. Because I need those connections. I need time for myself. I need to be able to experience that every year. I do. I need to feel like I'm important, and not just important to my people here, but I'm important to myself. And I'm choosing to love myself. And at Reach Retreat, you feel like you're put in an environment where you really see your power and your value. Reach Retreat, I'm going to use the word again. It's powerful. And why wouldn't I want to be a forever Reach Retreater? Why wouldn't I want to put myself in that space? It's really been it's a pivotal. I hate this word. I love this word, but I can never say it. Pivotal. Thank you. Yeah, in my career as an author, it really has been. And in branding Mama Schon and being Mama Schon has been such an important part of that. And the sun just came out like, oh, the heavens opened.
Okay, so my keynote last year, Dana, remember, it was about the pivotal moments that shaped me.
Yes.
And I talked about the different moments. And so when you said it's a pivotal moment, it was like the perfect synergy of what it's a dream of mine that Reach Retreat would be a pivotal moment for you, because I look back at my journey and I'm like, what were these pivotal moments in my life that, even if they were hard or beautiful, have shaped me to be who I am, or to be on this live talking about a retreat that we would have never even existed had I not gone through those things. And so I love
it. Every piece of our journey leads up to the place we are today. And I think you've been able to take your journey and all those steps and create this Danielle that we see and that we receive from, because you do give so much light and energy into the world. And that's so important. And, I think all of us are that way, that our journey creates what we see today. It's our choice to continue the work and to continue to provide ourselves and put ourselves in environments that we can continue to be better. And that's why I'll be a forever Reach Retreater, because I want to be better every day. I'll never be done being better. I'll always work. Yeah.
I love that. Well, and like what every attendee brings to the retreat. So you're saying, thank you, Danielle, thank you. But I'm like, thank you, Mama Schon. Like, thank you for every person that says yes to either speaking, to preparing meals, taking pictures, promoting, sharing, writing a testimonial. You guys play a role in even making it possible for women to experience this, because you say yes. You continue to make it possible for other women to experience what we're experiencing. And Reach Retreat evolves with us. So when you're like, oh, she came to year one and she came to year two, and like, it's because it evolves with us and where we're at. We listen to what you guys are needing and what you guys are desiring in your life and in your business. And that is what I wanted it to be, was as unique as we are. Like, not just a conference where we go, and conferences are powerful, but where we go and we get nuggets. I wanted it to be like, what are you dealing with, Dana? How can we support you? How can we love you? Because that's what we need in our lives, is that one-on-one, like, I see you.
And I love that you say that it's as unique as you are, because really Reach Retreat is uniquely created for every person to get what they need out of it. And I remember the first Reach Retreat, and I'm gonna call Chris out a little bit. She was like, journal? I don't journal. What am I going to journal? And her and I had this brief interaction. And I was like, I love her because she's so raw and real. And she's probably one of my most favorite people now. And I'm pretty sure she journals. I'm pretty sure
she's going to comment on this and say, I don't journal, but we know she does. She said she did a post a couple weeks ago. So that was funny too, is like, there's a lot of things that we approach at Reach Retreat that are a little bit out of your comfort zone, but you're supported while doing it. And it's okay to still choose what works for you and what doesn't. And like this year, Reach Retreat's side of yoga, breath work, meditation, because I have grown as a leader and retreaters are growing and loving that part of our business and our life. That's why Delaney is bringing the fire. She's bringing it unlike she ever has. We're going to be in the parks and in Savannah, Georgia, doing yoga and connecting with each other. And like, it's just going to be a different level. But for people who haven't experienced that, it does kind of get you outside your comfort zone just a little bit. And
but there's no pressure there. You're not feeling like you are being forced to do anything you don't want to do.
Yep. And oh gosh. Okay. So Diana commented, and she said, "Can it be July already? I love you, ladies." And that's what I'm like, please, let's just go already. Okay. So I think if you don't have anything else to add, we'll kind of wrap it up so people have a chance to listen to this. And guys, you can listen to it like just like a podcast. Although we'd love it if you would listen in, just plug it in your car, listen to it as you're driving, or, do an errand or on the elliptical or whatever. But just, we wanted to have an opportunity. When I was sharing about Reach Retreat, and Dana goes, "If you want me to go talk about Reach Retreat, like, I'm game." And I was like, why have I not asked her to go and do this? So you guys are getting to hear from a founding member who's just invested in herself year 1, year 2 to be there, and really wants to make an impact with the other women too, but coming and investing in herself. And she came scared. She came not knowing women. She's come in with big goals, lofty goals to publish book 1, book 2. Now you're working on book 3, and also managing her business and taking care of her family. I mean, she's the mom not only to 6 kiddos, but you've got the community. Like, you are there for so many people, and it's permission to be there for yourself. And you are showing your kids how to care for themselves by doing that. And that's what Diana reminds us of, is we teach others how to care for themselves by caring for us. And I won't forget that. Like, that's a massive thing that I learned at year 1, that when I go and work out, or I tell Leah that mom needs to take a bath and decompress, or I'm going to go to a trip for a couple days and work on myself, I'm teaching her to do the same. Mm-hmm. So, all right, so I'm going to close. If you haven't, I guess, heard about Reach Retreat, maybe this is your first time that you heard about it. Ask us questions. Message Mama Schon. She's not going to care. She'd love to tell you her honest attendee feedback. If this wasn't more, you want to dive deeper, message me. Reach Retreat has an application on the website, and I'll include the link. It's free, coffee chat like this. You hop on a Zoom, or if you don't want to do Zoom, you can call me. And we just talk about where are you at in your business, where you're at in your life, how are these speakers going to meet you where you are, what is this experience in the estate, we're saying in the 1800s estate, all the fun little details that make it super special. But in the reality, it's just all about you. It's all about you and making sure that you have the best experience. The dates are July 14th through the 18th, and we only have 5 spots remaining. So if you're like, I need to be in this space, I want to be in this space, message me. Let's see what we need to do to make it happen. And I wanted to show them this because I'm in my intentional space. So, okay, you guys see that's the tassels, the little balls up there, but that's our first year Reach Retreat picture. And this is where I put all the girls that say yes to being in the space with us. And this is where I meditate, guys. This is where I journal. This is where I have my coffee. I'm so intentional of praying over your business, keeping you guys in front of mind, praying over your success and your healing and all of those things. And so I would love to add the next 5 ladies up there and be able to get to know you guys and connect with you before we ever get to Savannah. But I think that was a long close. But yeah, ask questions. Come join us in Savannah. Do you have anything you want to add before we leave?
No, come to Reach.
Come to Reach.
We need to Reach.
Thank you, ladies, for who came and listened, and feel free to share it with anybody you think that needs to be in this space.
Bye, Daniel.